cock. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to go over our League One predictions for this weekend's games. I'll just quickly show you through some of the things that's on shelves. I've got some more stuff coming, but for now, this is all I've got. The two teddies from first time. That is actually a signed glove. That is from Adam Davies when Barnsley bet Millwall at playoff final in 2016. That is Adam Davies' match-worn glove that he threw into the crowd. My mum caught it. And our Foxy, my father, got it signed after because he's got connections and that. Toby Tyke, bus, football, couple scarves, lights. Still, I'm going to change them, but I've got some other lights coming, so I can't at a minute. Mallorca cock. I think everybody's got one of them things, like a bottle opener thing that's just a penis. Classic. Old school football, plant, real, Pee-wee skipping rope and a Santa hat on, and a cat that looks a little bit like my cat. Well, my mum and dad's cat now, not mine, because I've moved out, and thanks everybody for that. Okay, let's get in there. Right, so League One this weekend. We're starting with Blackpool versus Reading at 12:30. There's a few half 12s on, and I will be there at one of them. Listen, onks, straight away, this does stink. I mean, Reading is shite, so you've not got a lot to go off straight away. But Blackpool, after ever coming in, they had that little bounce. Last couple of games, they have been stinking it up a little bit. They drew away at Leyton Orient, and they were playing against 10 men for the majority of the game. Ashley Fletcher scored last minute to equalise for him. They lost away at Burton. They lost away at Tranmere Cup. So last few games, it has been a bit of a reality check that this is what Everton's got to work with. This squad is crap. It does remind me of Rotherham last year when they brought all these players in a bit earlier than everybody else. And everybody was losing their minds. Like, oh my God, they've brought some players in quick. I don't mean they're half decent just because they've got to be faster than everybody. I do think Blackpool will be fine now. But this game, this just stinks for a draw, doesn't it? Reading have got no firepower up front. I don't think they've got a recognised goal scorer like a lot of other teams seem to have in this division, and a lot of the goals come from Savage or Wing or just really technically good players from edge at box. And I think they have got some good players, Reading, but they just score screamers all the time. They're not creating a lot of chances, or they weren't under Hunt. I think it's changing a little bit now. They do look a little bit better going forward, but for right now, I think a draw is just what's smacking me in the face. I go Blackpool 1, Reading 1, but I think with both of these sides, in fairness, I do think they will both start getting some wins more consistently soon. But at the minute, they are just both a bit crap. Here we go. Stockport versus Barnsley. Is this biggest game at weekend? There's a couple others, but this is huge, baby. This is a big one. And I think we're catching them at a really good time here. I said that before Peterborough bet Stockport. They come off back of like 5 wins in 6 games. And there were some comments on that video where I said that I thought Peterborough would win anyway. Obviously, they went and smashed them up. But people are like, oh, why? Why do you think Stockport are going to... Why is it a good time to play Stockport even? That's probably a better question. Like, the lack of Norwood is what's killing these. They have not got a clue how to play in this division without someone like that. It doesn't help that Bates injured as well, but he's been out all season. But without Norwood, they have got no control at middle at park. They've got no one who can dictate play. They've got no one who can just under Kosh, ping it 60 yards to someone perfectly down line and get you out of any trouble. I feel like they get pinned in quite a lot, Stockport. But coming up against us, like Dan, I think this is just played into our hands perfectly. Like, we're much better against the better teams anyway. Like Bolton, Huddersfield, Luton, Plymouth. I'm not saying better teams per se right now, but the bigger clubs that are going to try and control the game a little bit more. It suits us because we can just let you have all that ball and we'll just hit you on counters. And that's our game at minute, and that is what is working in the last few weeks that Orient's transition to. Obviously, going away to Stockport, we're not going to touch ball. We're barely going to have any rate. And especially if they haven't got Norwood, it gives us even more reason to just go, listen, let your part-timers have it in middle at park, just pass the ball to us wingers and we'll let you on counter and score. And I do think we come into this as favourites. I really do. I don't think bookies would see it that way, and I don't think a lot of other people would see it that way. But I fully expect Barnsley to win this game, which is a very dangerous place to be in, because every time I said that, we'll lose. But seriously, I think Orient has found what works now with Barnsley. We've got injuries coming back. We're looking a little bit more complete now for what is such a tiny squad that we've got, and a young one as well. I do think Stockport probably score, because they are a good side ultimately. Even though they've lost like a couple of the last games, they are a good team. But I think Barnsley win. I'm going to go Stockport 1, Barnsley 3. Yeah. I'm being serious. It's Bolton, Barnsley top 2. This is it. We're getting out of this shit altogether. Moving into 3 quarters, we've got Bradford and Exeter. This one stinks a little bit and all, you know. And another one, I'm just trying to think of what the majority of people would say here. And a lot will just look at these two and think, well, Exeter are crap. Bradford are obviously, where are they? Been second. Yeah, third. Bradford are third. Exeter are like 20th, something along them lines. This is a piece of piss. Easy, home 2-0 win. I reckon that's the most common scoreline here. Everybody go 2-0 Bradford. But Bradford have been crap for... Well, they were winning consistently, and then they played Barnsley and drew. And after that, they've not won. And that's 7 games now, all comps, without a win. They've come off back a really good point away at Bolton. But, mate, Bradford are quite similar to us. Like, they're really good against the better sides. They get points off all of them. They win a lot of them games against your Cardiffs and Huddersfields and all them boys again. Stockport. Bradford are a really good side against your better teams. Against these type of teams, like Exeter and Donny and Burton and Rotherham and Peterborough, all these sides that you look at and think, Bradford should comfortably win this game. They drop points in them all. And I've said this so many times and it just keeps happening, so I'm going to keep saying it. I think that's a byproduct of the mentality from while they've been sat in League Two. Because you favourite every week when you're Bradford in League Two. And teams just come and sit 11 behind ball and try and hit you on a counter. And you ain't got players good enough to break up on a low block like that. And I think that's same here. Exeter are a really poor side. They are 20th. I think they're in real danger, this season of going down. But recently they've been in really good form as well. 4 wins in the last 6. They've only lost one of them as well. And when you come away to Bradford, and if they do just sit loads of men behind ball, I think Exeter will get something here. I don't think they'll come here and win. But I think it'll be very hard to Bradford to break them up and score. I don't think Exeter concede loads anyway, really, because that Whitworth in net is probably the best player, that fella on loan. And I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to say Bradford 1, Exeter 1. I don't think Bradford look the part at minute like they did even a few weeks ago when they were constantly winning. They were a very, very good team against us. I think that I remember watching them against Lincoln on telly as well. I think that was game after, and they looked all right there. But it's not clicking at minute, and when you look at it's out. And yeah, I think they will draw this game with Exeter, to be honest. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that they are a promotion threat to Barnsley. Burton and Leyton Orient. If this were other way around, I think I'd definitely give Leyton Orient a win here. But Orient away are toss. They're the 3rd worst side in division, the 22nd. They've got 6 points in 8 games. They absolutely honk dick. Burton at home are equally as crap. The 3rd worst home side in division. But a lot of them points that they get are in the last few weeks. They've won 3 out of the last 5 home games. And a couple of losses in cups, so I'm not even that asked about that. One thing I will say, that I always say, and that's always true, is that Leyton Orient are mint going forward. They're a great side going forward. Some of them lads that they've got up front just should not be in this division, but it evens it sent out massively when the defence is shit. And I think that just completely sums Leyton Orient up at minute. So top heavy, all your action is at front end at pitch, and you've just left your defence to die. And I think they play like that as well, Wellings. I don't think they exactly try and nullify how crap the defence is, which I don't think you should do, to be honest. If you've got all these really good attackers and your defence is shit, don't even them send out and make it boring 0-0s and 1-0s and try and go for that. Use what you've got. Look at all in division above, they're exact same. And I think Leyton Orient are going about it the right way, but the defence is just that bad that at minute it's not even in it sent out enough. I actually think Burton will win. I'm going to go 2-1 to the home side. I do like Burton. They are obviously, towards back in the last season anyway, they were performing like a top 6 side. And this season so far, they're in 14th, which is really good for someone like Burton. No disrespect here for hashtag teams like Burton and one of them ones. But there's a lot of bigger... Well, everybody's a bigger side than Burton in here. But there's a lot of big teams that are well below them. And Burton are punching well above the means with budget that they've got. I think they're doing really good. That manager is top draw. Cardiff and Mansfield. Now, without being drawn into the Cardiff are big, Mansfield are small, piece of piss Cardiff win, I do actually think that's how it's going to go. And I know you could look at someone like the Bradford game, for example, and think, well, you've not gone for it there. But Bradford can't break these teams down, and Cardiff just can. And I think that is the difference here. I didn't think Cardiff would get anything away at Northampton, and I don't actually think Cardiff are that good a side in here. But Mansfield, who I do actually quite rate, I think they're an AF decent side, go through spells quite consistently where they'll win a few in a row, then they'll lose 3 in a row, then they'll win a few in a row. And they're currently in one of them losing streaks at minute where they've lost the last 3 games. 2 of them are to Huddersfield and 1's away at Northampton. Their away form is very poor anyway against the Cardiff side that, even though they've been a bit iffy recently, like they've lost 3 out of the last 6 games at home in all comps, they are a very good team for this division. I don't think they're a very good team generally, and I don't think they're a top 2 side, regardless of the fact that they're sat in second at minute. But they should win this. The players that these two have got going up against each other, it's just night and day in it. And even young uns, if Cardiff just put a team full of their academy out, they should probably win this. Home aspect as well, crowd will be up for it because it's like, you're always going to be in with Cat's Puba top, aren't you, Cardiff, in this league, with how it's going and how tight it is anyway. So the home games, I think they're going to really make count. Even though I don't think they'll go up, and I stand by it, I think they'll be a playoff side, but I don't think they'll get top 2. But they should win this. And I'll go Cardiff 3, Mansfield 0. Maybe a bit heavy, but I do think they are just much better than them. Donny and Peterborough. Oh, this is a big old game, especially for Donny this, because they have been sliding for a while. From being in top 6 after about 10 games, they're now 19th. Like, the slide has been incredible. They're not offering a great deal going forward, in fairness. And when you've got Billy Sharp stood up there on his own, you're not going to create loads anyway, are you? I think the majority of Donny's life and future depends on Molineux more than anything else. I do think, though, Donny are quite fortunate that Peterborough played midweek and lost, because to come off back of 4 wins in all comms in a row. When Williams has come in, they've won 4 games in a row, but they did play Stevenage at home. Donny had played midweek. They played Stevenage at home and lost 1-0. So I think that's put them in a little bit of good stead there, knowing that they're not coming into it just like full steam ahead beating everybody. Peterborough are a poor side. End of. Like, they are playing better recently. They're creating a little bit more. I think the defence has tightened up a lot since Williams has come in. But ultimately, they are a poor side, and this is a very even game personnel-wise. I do slightly lean towards Donny. Seriously, I do. Peterborough have definitely impressed me more recently. I watched them against Stockport, and it was best I've seen them play probably since they were a playoff side a couple of years ago. But the home aspect and the fact that, say it this way, I've watched both of these sides for full 90s in the last 2 weeks. I went to Donny away with Barnsley when we won, and I thought they were a decent team. I watched Peterborough against Stockport, and I thought they were a very good side. But I think the home aspect, maybe even if it's St Athan goes a draw, but part of me is just leaning towards Donny because I do think they are that far away from putting a decent win streak together and just getting out of this mess. And I'm going to start it here, actually. I'm slightly tempted to withdraw, but I'm going to Donny 2, Peterborough 1. I'm leaning with Donny. I don't know what it is, but there's something about me that thinks they'll win some games soon. Huddersfield and Wimbledon. I think this game's come at a good time for Huddersfield because the changed system, apparently, I've not seen a full 90 room for a while, so I can't comment, but from the bits that I've seen and that and what I've been told, they've changed system, they've gone to a 2 up front, which I like. I like that about Grant, because a lot of these new-gen managers have got this one style, and they're like, well, this worked at Tottenham and Man City, so I'm doing it here in League One. And that's just not how it works, is it? When has that ever been how it works? But Grant, at least Grant, has got the minerals about him to think, well, I'm playing shit here, so I'm going to change it and use what I've got. They've got a lot of, again, quite a top-heavy side. They've got a lot of quality at top end at pitch, Huddersfield. I don't rate them that much defensively looking at it. I think personnel-wise it looks good, but when you're chucking them all together, it's just really not that cracking for Huddersfield. Middle at Park, I think, is quite a strong place for them, and they should be able to dominate a lot of games. Against the Wimbledon side that's really fell off a cliff recently, you are looking at 4 losses in 5 games, conceding loads. They're just not offering a great deal. They are going to go and sit back against Huddersfield, though, so that's its own problem for them to try and deal with. Try and break up on this side that's going to sit 10 behind ball against you all game. But I do think Huddersfield should do it. I don't rate them, to be honest. I don't think they will get promoted. I think they might sneak top 6 after what should have been a side that ran away with Huddersfield this season, personnel-wise, players that they've brought in, money they've spent. I think they will scrape top 6 and probably go out with a whimper. But that's a long way away anyway. As for right now, I think they're lucky that they're playing against Wimbledon in time that they're playing them, but I do think Huddersfield will win. Marginal, I'll go 1 note to Huddersfield. Lincoln and Port Vale, oh no. Darren Moore's in trouble, and it shouldn't be. Seriously, it shouldn't be. I'm going to tell you now, there's going to be a lot of Port Vale fans that are going to disagree with me. And obviously, I'm not trying to say that I know more about your club than you, because obviously I don't, and I never will. But Darren Moore is not the problem at your club. There is no way. The games that you play, the chances that you create, a lot of that is obviously well worked on in training throughout week. He cannot run onto the pitch and score a goal. I think it is a consistent problem that people, well, fans in general, don't want to blame men on pitch and want to just immediately go for easy option, which is sat in dugout. If your strikers are toss and they're missing from 5 yards and they're passing when they should shoot and the decision making's off and they're just crap footballers, that is not Darren Moore's fault. There's not a great deal he can do here with this. I think his coaching wins, but your players just aren't taking opportunities. You're going up against Lincoln, who, again, I think you've caught Lincoln at a good time here. They've got 2 wins in about 8 games now. They've really started sliding away as well. All the way down to 4th, by the way. Port Vale are bottom of the league, man. Oh, God. I think I'm caught in 2 minds here. I think it's too easy to just go with Lincoln win, because I think these are very even sides. I really do, at the minute. I like Lincoln, and I think they've got a shot at top 6. But Port Vale, I don't think are a bad side at all. But also, I don't just want to get my judgment clouded and think I'm just going to go for underdog when they just don't warrant it. They're obviously in really crap form, Port Vale, and why would it change when they're still playing decent, but ultimately the players aren't good enough to finish the dinner off? That's not going to change in space for a week away at Lincoln, is it? Or defensively quite good anyway. I think Port Vale will come out of this soon, and trust me right now, I'm going to say this. What is the date right now? 26th of November. If you sack Darren Moore, I think you get relegated. If you keep him, I think you stay up. And Port Vale should not be in a position where they should get relegated. I don't know what's up with George Byers either. I don't know if he's in squad or what. I don't know what's going on there. If that's a problem, then maybe Darren Moore is more lost than I thought. But I think Port Vale should be picking up a lot more points than they are. But unfortunately, just because of the home aspect, and I've got to use my brain here, I'm going to go Lincoln 2, Port Vale 0. I do think it's going to be an even game. And I think, honestly, I think I'll be sat there reviewing this on Monday. So do EFL reviews, don't I? So I do Championship reviews on Sundays and League One on Mondays. I think I'll be sat there on Monday seeing that Port Vale have had a really good game. They've proper held their own and they've lost. And it wouldn't surprise me at all. This is a big old game. Luton and Bolton. This should be a walk in park for Bolton. It really should. These are two teams at opposite ends of the spectrum. I don't think it's a case that we caught Luton on a bad day, because recently, in the last 7 games, Luton have won 5, drawn 1, and lost 5-0 to Barnsley. So maybe that's just like the standard of the title winners, baby. But Luton were crap. They looked void of ideas. They were awful going forward. I don't even think the front four for Luton touched ball against Barnsley, because they were just... They didn't look arse. They weren't coming for the ball. They weren't showing. They won't make a run in behind. They were just crap start to finish, majority of them Luton players. They were awful. Versus the Bolton side, that I've been saying for weeks, if not months, probably months now, that these are best team in division by genuinely some margin. I stand here right, I sit even, but I sit here now and I honestly think Bolton will be at least 10 points clear of third, at least. I know it's a very tight division now, but I think post-January especially, we will look at a team that is going to pull away massively. They are doing it a bit more recently anyway. They are more consistent than probably anybody in division. Last 10 games, they're top at league. They're scoring a lot. Like, do you know what I mean? But Bolton just look like a consistent 2-1 machine to me. I just think they're better than everybody in every area of pitch. And results have started to reflect that. Luton obviously bet Huddersfield. And apparently we're a little bit better from Luton against Huddersfield, didn't it? Well, it couldn't have got much worse than it were against Barnsley. But I'm just not having it. Obviously, seeing these two in flesh, and they are so complete polar opposites in terms of quality and how they're coached as well. Jack Wilshere is doing well so far. I do think you can say that, by the way. I know he got pummeled at ours, but everything else is done really well with him so far, Luton. Because a lot of them look like overpaid, overhyped, believing they're better than what they are, shitbags. I think that is majority of Luton's team. Against the Bolton team with Schumacher, loads of experience, previous title winner in this division. This should be a doddle, and I honestly think it will be. I'm going to go Luton 0, Bolton 2. I think the better side by a mile, and the scoreline should reflect that. Plymouth and Northampton, God, these two are shit and all. This is songs. This is a really smelly game. I mean, Plymouth won away at Port Vale, didn't they? But not exactly convincingly. I thought Port Vale were probably better side. Against Northampton, they lost 3-1 at home to Cardiff, but again, I think they were all right there, in fairness. Like, what are Northampton doing the last few weeks? They're a bit like Mansfield. They'll have a spell where they're winning loads of games and then they'll not win for 5. They are one of them, Northampton. Bit iffy at minute, and to be fair, they are in the games quite a lot. So you've always got to give them that they're not far away from nicking points all the time. Whereas Plymouth, even though they won against Port Vale, are consistently not in games. I'm going to go draw. I thought we were going to come into this and give Plymouth a win. But a 1-0 win away at Port Vale, who are bottom in division, at minute, is not giving much confidence that Plymouth are going to go on a very good run and just start pulling away and be fine. I think they're really poor. And again, probably similar to Luton aspect, a lot of players that will be on some decent brass that probably think they're much better than what they actually are. And to be fair, Cleverley does not really strike me as a disciplinarian that's going to get in the face and go, "You're actually shite, mate." Like, I know you're not going to do that anyway as a gaffer. You're not going to go up to your players. You're shit. But also, you've got to rain check them a little bit. These fellas think they're good and they're crap. The Plymouth squad is arse, mate. It's awful. It's better than bottom 4 standard, yeah. But I don't think they're that much better than Northampton players. And I could see them turning up here thinking, Northampton at home, this is a breeze, mate, when you're bottom 4. You know what? I'm going Plymouth 1, Northampton 2. I'm getting it to cobblers. Forget everything I've just said. Rotherham, Wycombe, this is a draw immediately. Wycombe have been in very good form since Duff's come in. Serious chance at playoffs now. I've said that for a few weeks and all. Like, they are very well drilled. He knows his best 11. With a really big squad, it's difficult to do, but I think he's done it well, Duff. He's a good manager anyway for this division. You've seen it with us. I think you saw it with Huddersfield to an extent last season when you looked at what happened to him after he'd sacked him. He is a good manager. And I think maybe he works with slightly lesser egos. I think he probably works better with that. There's no real expectation on Wycombe. And I think they've flown under the radar quite a bit. Even though they're winning constantly, nobody's really looking at them that seriously yet. And in what is a very tight, confined league, I think they could get it top 6 really quick. Against Rotherham, who, to be fair, have been playing really well recently. The results have been great for a while. I still think they are poor going forwards, but defensively, they've really tightened it up. Since they've brought a couple of these kids through, they're half decent, them at back, Rotherham's. I'm going 0-0. To be honest, I'm going to go Rotherham 0, Wycombe 0. And then Wigan, Stevenage. I mean, that was a really good win away at Wimbledon last week. That Bertoni kid come on and scored 2, didn't he? That's as good a debut as you're ever going to get. Against Stevenage, that their goals have definitely dried up. They're a good team, Stevenage are. They obviously won 1-0 away at Peterborough midweek. They are a decent little side defensively. I don't know if they've got the goals to sustain this against a Wigan team that even in their losses, they're not conceding loads of goals. They do concede quite regularly, but they're not conceding a lot. And if Wigan had a recognised goal scorer, because they've spent a lot of money on top end at pitch, and all of them ended up just being like a bit shite. Loads of good manager, and you expect more, or you expect him to pull more out at back than he is doing, really. But when your nines are as crap as Wigan's are, well, both of these it's same, really. I think they both excel defensively. Wigan, I know their goal tally ain't even that good, or defensive goal tally. The goal difference is quite poor. But I do quite like them at back. And I don't think they're that far off getting it really bang on at back defensively. Going forward, they're shit. They've got no up top. But same as Stevenage on a much bigger scale. Stevenage's defence is excellent. One at best in division easily. And are obviously it's top at division because of it. Wigan are 15th. But at home, I just think they'll get something. I do think they'll get something. And maybe, oh, you know what? I'm going to do it. It's really rotten, but I'm going to end video with the opposite of a bang. The worst ending to a video of all time. I'm going to go back-to-back 0-0s. Wigan 0, Stevenage 0. Exciting, baby. But that's that. Absolute pleasure. Love you all. Kiss. Make sure you like, subscribe if you do enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. And also, I know there's not a lot going on. I'm going to get some more gizmos and that going on soon. But I just want to say a quick thank you. Big old thank you, actually. Not a quick one. Because I've bought an house for talking shite to that thing. So thank you, everybody that watches and has done for a while. I really, really do appreciate it. Love you all. Kiss, and I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.